Good morning. Today I am going to walk through the whole process of adding a new song for us to use in services. So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add the song in Planning Center. And so, the song we're going to do today is Rattle by Elevation Worship. So, let's go to Songs, and then we are going to add a song. We're going to type in Rattle. We're going to make sure it's this Elevation Worship version. Yep, that one right there. Hold on. All right. And it's going to bring up this. The title is Rattle. The arrangement we're creating will be Elevation Worship. Assuming that the original key is E flat. We're not going to check these because the song select charts suck. Yeah, so submit. All right, here we are. The first thing I do is I delete all this stuff out of sequence just because it takes up room on the chart and we don't really need that anyway because that's more for something else. All right, so now the song is created, but we have no chord chart, we have no MP3. We have basic info, the length of the song, the BPM, and the time signature. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the chord chart. So we're going to go to praisecharts.com. We're going to search Rattle. Let's see, choral anthem. That's not what we want. We just want regular old Rattle, which looks like this one here. And we're going to click chords and lyrics. And then we're going to click the button here to buy them. Buy now. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Come on, there we go. Check mark. All right, now back in our planning center, we're gonna look at files and hit the plus button, and then go to praise charts. And then under this shows the one that we've purchased. We're gonna drop this down, and we're gonna do this first one, the TXT, chords and lyrics, editable TXT. The PDFs are not actually editable. So we're gonna click that and import. And that's gonna import complete. All right, now what you can do is you can click on lyrics and chords, open that. All right, there's a bunch of stuff up here. We can just delete that. Okay. Original key is E flat, which is correct. All right, and then I like to kind of go through and clean it up so that it shows up well on the chart. So like here we see we've got some line breaks and stuff that are make it harder to read. So we can go through and edit that. What you're seeing here is called Chord Pro. And so Chord Pro basically puts chords or other content you want above the lyrics in brackets. And you can also use some HTML stuff, like if you wanted to make something bold, you could do, what is that? Less than sign or greater than sign, B, less than sign, and then /B. And then look over here and you'll see now that word is in bold. Now, I'm not going to do that very often, but just in case you need to. But yeah, so basically you put the chord in brackets at the point where you want it to be above that word. And so like in this word impossible, we want the chord to be over the P, because that's where the chord actually starts, is on that word impossible. And so what they like to do is to do the first syllable dash, chord in brackets, and then the rest of the word, and that puts it like this here. And you can't see the dash because the line is too long. Now there's a couple things you can do when the lines are too long. you can come to the format here and make your font size smaller. So like if we drop down to 11, that'll clean it up quite a bit. So now we can see all that stuff lines up correctly. Not all of it, but like here it's still a problem. And you can make it even smaller, but keep in mind the smaller you make it, the harder it's going to be for the bands to read on the iPads. But we'll just do this for now, and we can change it later if we want to. But like you can see here under Chorus 2, there's all these lines that are going to be better if we put a line break in there. So like, do that there, and there, and there. Okay, and now we see we got nice, clean individual lines for those. And you can go through and do the rest of the song like that, and then maybe you can even make your font bigger again. So yeah, you can play around with this to make the chord charts easier to read and all that kind of stuff. But for now, we're going to go back. Okay, so now we need some MP3s and multi-tracks and all that kind of stuff. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to multitracks.com. I need to get logged in here. Okay, and then we're going to go to the home page here. And we're going to search for a rattle. And of course, it's our first result because this is a very popular song. Okay, we got the song, and we're going to get the multi-track. Wave multi-track is selected, so that's good. $35. View cart. Check out. I agree. Finalize. Okay, now we're going to download it in the original key. So Wave original E flat. Request and download. We're going to save it to our shared worship, click tracks, songs. And we're going to make a new folder in here called Rattle Elevation Worship. So song name and version, because if you want to do a different version later on, you'll want a folder with a different version name. And we'll just save that right in there. And that is downloaded. So we're going to show that. We're going to unzip it. Okay, and then let's delete our zip file because we don't need it anymore. And then I want everything nice and clean, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to Command Option V here to paste it into the folder so that it's not a folder in a folder. And we'll delete that folder. Okay. All right, now these come, then they just are called multi-track ALS. That's our Ableton file. We want it to be named after the song, so we're going to call it rattle-original. And the point of this is we want to have the original file as it is, so that after we make edits and all that kind of stuff saved as different files, we still have the original we can go back to without having to download it again. Okay, so we got that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to purchase the MP3 from Amazon. So search for Rattle Elevation. And this should be the one. Let's see, make sure that's the one. One thing you can do to make sure is if you go back to your song here and play. Okay, does this sound like that? That's not the right song. Rattle Live. Oh, it won't even let us listen to it on here. But we can buy the MP3, so we'll go ahead and do that. Buy MP3. Download into that same folder. Okay, and that's downloaded. So let's, okay, we've got the MP3 there. All right, so now let's open our Ableton file. Very good. And now we're going to add 2 audio tracks. First one, we're going to call it tempo. We're going to make it white. We're going to drag it all the way up here above click track. Then here under songs, we're going to find the folder called sections. And we're going to find tempo. And this is just an empty, silent audio file to keep track of the tempo. Okay, and then we're going to trim this there so that it's the same length as the rest of the song. And then we're going to insert another audio track. We're going to name it, whoops, MP3. We're going to make it this dark purple color. And we're going to put it between guide and drums. And now we're going to open our rattle folder here that we created. Going to drag in the MP3. And then we're going to see if we can get it lined up. I'm going to guess that the intro starts right here where there's clearly drums or something coming in big there. Drag that back. Okay, and we're snapping right now, so it's not going to quite line up, so we need to turn snapping off, which you can do by going to the view menu, I think, or maybe options. Okay, yeah, options, snap to grid, or you can see the keyboard shortcut is Command 4. So if I push that, there we go. Let's zoom in a little further, get it nice and tight here. Okay, let's solo that, and let's turn on our metronome. Oh, there is some stuff going on in the beginning there, so it looks like it starts about. Okay, let's do that. Let's see what we get. Oh, there's a... You know what? I think I was right the first time. No, that's verse. Okay. So it looks like there's like 2 intro kind of things here. So let's go there. Okay, let's see what we get now. Okay, very good. All right, so our MP3 is in place now. Yep, looks like it ends at the same time as the song. Time signature change there, not sure why, but it's okay. Okay, so now we have our MP3 and our tempo tracks. Now what we want to do is set everything to warp in case we want to change the tempo or the key. So we're going to select all these clips, open up our thing here. Come on, there we go. Select them all, warp, and we're going to change this to complex. That's good. Okay, now we're going to select just our tempo, change it from follow to lead. Then we're going to select our MP3, change it from complex to complex pro, and our format to 50. And then our BGVs here we'll set to complex pro and leave them alone. Okay, and then we're going to save this, and this will be an older version, so that's fine. Just save over it. Replace. Okay, now we have our original multi-track complete with MP3 and tempo. Here we can go ahead and cut the MP3 off there as well. Whoops. Turn our snapping back on, Command 4. There we go. And let's give it a little fade out here. Yeah. Right click, create fade out. Okay. Save that. All right. So now that's ready to go. Now what we want to do is we want to create the tracks for our band to listen to in Planning Center. So the first thing you're going to want to do before you do this is listen through the song and decide if you want to make any changes, any cut any sections, change the structure at all. And you're going to do that first, but we're going to pretend that we're going to play this song exactly as it is. And we're going to go ahead and save this as the original key, which is E flat. And okay, good. And then we're going to, first thing, yeah, let's turn off the MP3 track so that way when we import it into our live sets, it's already muted. But then we can go ahead and solo it, and we're going to Command Shift R to export the audio. Rattle E flat, correct. Make sure we got the right folder selected. We're going to save that. Okay, very good. Then we're going to unsolo this. So now all of our tracks are just the backtracks, background vocals and all that. And this is going to be so the band can hear their parts easier and better. So we're going to Command Shift R again, and we're going to insert this little thing here, parentheses SEQ for sequence. And that's just a signal to the band, hey, this is the version that's from the multi-tracks without the lead vocals, so you can hear your parts better. Okay. Now, in our Finder, in our Rattle folder, we're going to see the WAV files we just created. We're going to Command click to select both of them. Right click and go to Encode Selected Audio Files. High Quality Preset is selected, same as source file, and we can delete the WAV files because we're not going to need them after this. So continue. Okay, and now we've got these M4A files created here. So back in Planning Center, we've got our key of E flat. And we're just going to drag both of those into there and let them upload. All right, so now the band has a chord chart, a sequence MP3, and a original MP3. But E flat is a hard key to play in, and also the singing is too high for most people. So we're going to add a key, and we're going to go half a step down. So we're going to add the key of D and save. Now what's cool is because our chord chart is in this format, it will automatically transpose it to any key that you add. And so now we've got our chord chart in D. Nice and easy. So you don't have to worry about that. But now we want to create, now you can, but I don't like doing it this way. you could hit there's a transpose audio button here, and you can click that and you can select the MP3 that you want to transpose from and to D and transpose, and it will pitch that audio down half a step. But that also changes the pitch of the guide and the drums and anything else that doesn't need pitched. And so what I like to do is to pitch only the tracks that we want to pitch in live. And also, this allows you to save your multi-track in the key that you're going to be using in your live set that you can import directly without then having to go and change all the tracks to be in the key that you want them in after you've brought them into your live set. So we're going to first select our MP3, and down here under pitch, we're going to type -1 for 1/2 step. And then we're going to select everything from bass through BGVs 2, because these are all melodic instruments. And then the same thing, -1. And then sometimes some tracks like synth FX or loop will have stuff in them that is melodic as well. And so we want to solo these real quick and just listen and see if they're melodic. That sounds melodic to me, so we're going to want to pitch that down as well. Now let's check our loop and make sure that that's just like percussion-y type stuff. Yeah. No melodic stuff here, so we're good. Okay, but you're gonna want to leave drums, percussion, loop, click track guide, leave all those alone because those do not need pitched. And now we're gonna save live set as the key of D. And then we're gonna do the exports just like we did before. Whoops. Command-Shift-R to export. This is going to be our sequence in D. All right, and then we're going to solo our MP3. And this is the other reason I like to do this instead of transpose in Planning Center, is because now you can use the Complex Pro algorithm instead of just whatever Planning Center uses to pitch shift down. Complex Pro preserves the vocal formants and stuff a little better. If you leave it set to 100, the format setting, it'll sound better in some cases if you're only pitching it a half step or a whole step, you know, up or down a little bit. But if you go further, it starts to make the whole track sound really odd. And so I like to set the format to 50 because it's a nice balance. Okay, we got both of those WAV files. We're going to select them here, encode, whoops, delete source, continue. All right, we got our M4As, and then we're gonna do the same thing, drag those into Planning Center. Okay. Now our song's ready to go in Planning Center. Our song is ready to go in Ableton. And that is how you add a new song.